Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines for May 5th, 2023. Wow. Guys, it's Friday and Guardians of the Galaxy has arrived at the theaters. Are you going to go out and check it out? Have you seen it already? Guess what? I've checked it out and I've did my initial impression reaction. That's, well, actually, guys, I really enjoyed the film quite a bit. So that'll be the big topic of the day that we'll be taking a look at. This is going to be a rather raw and just kind of loose news day because there really isn't that much going on out there in the realm of movie news. Andrew, let's just take a look at some of the headlines here on the Hollywood Reporter. Paramount officially orders Yellowstone sequel, announces the end of the main series. Yeah, because I guess Costner's stepping away, right? Or something like that. I don't know. I never watched Yellowstone, to tell you the truth. That's going on here. Why are you giving me 110%? Wow. Wow. Hollywood Reporter, what are you doing with your page, man? Look at all those ads that are being put in. Oh, jeez. Andrew Garfield, Daisy Edgar Jones is starring Carl Sagan biopic. Okay. Super Mario flying past 500 million in the US, so domestically it's going to be one of the bigger hauls of the year for sure. Mario Bros. It's going to lose its number one spot for Galaxy, from Guardians of the Galaxy this week for sure. AMC Theaters writer's strike impact. Did I pull that story? No, I didn't. We're going to pull that right now. Let's pull that story. There's a headline out here that I want to talk about. AMC Theaters CEO on writer's strike impact from 2022 to 2024. Movies have pretty much been written for that time period in the theaters. So, as a theater owner, are you really holding your breath on this one? CEO, he's just trying to calm the waters, right? Because people right now, they're out there panicking. We're going to lose revenue. Or what are we going to do? Even myself, I embellish on those shorts that I do every now and then. I do that because, well, it's supposed to be entertaining, right? I mean, come on. Derpy Gaming says I watched it last night. Okay, Guardians, yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stuck around for the 2 post-credit scenes for Guardians. I'll be doing my formal review here in just a little bit. And then what I'll do is I'll just clip that out and post it on its own later on. Here are my social media handles that you guys can check me out on. Those little shorts that we publish here on YouTube. Sometimes you can find extended versions of those over on TikTok and Instagram. Yeah, one of my Instagram actually just went over 10K. So that's cool. I'll never understand why if something works on one platform and doesn't on the other. Like my Emma Watson short about her coming back to acting did really well on Instagram. On YouTube. It's like, we do movie news here, guys. I'm constantly talking about movie news. You'd think that would get pushed out to the people that they would want it. Like YouTube's algorithms just I don't know. And people say, well, it's not about luck. It's about how determined you are to get things out. It's like, no, it's also about luck. It's about timing when you publish a video and stuff like that. And as much as some people try to tell you that it's not, it totally is. But where was I going with this AMC CEO strike? Something came up the other day too, where a writer was on, I think it was CNN or something, and they were like, well, the big Zaslav guy gets paid like $250 million for running a company. And the argument against it has been like, well, he's a CEO. He should be paid that amount because he's got all those responsibilities. 250 million plus? Is that what Zaslav makes? My God. Or it's like, it's a ridiculous amount of number. Zaslav. There we go. Let's see what his salary is. Okay, so it's not quite that high. Zaslav his is only like 39 million. 39 million. Thanks to a massive 203 million stock option. Here's the thing. With the CEO of, well, any company, and this is going to be kind of like a broad brushstroke statement that I'm about to make. Yeah, they don't need to make that much money. They don't need, yeah, I understand. Okay, yeah, they're in control. They're the ones making the big decisions on things. But um, your writers, people on the front line, you know, down in the dirt, making the product, are kind of like struggling to make ends meet. Yet the guy who makes the decisions makes all these grotesque bonuses and salaries. It's vile, guys. It's totally vile, and it's like, well, it's because of the responsibility. It's because they're constantly working. Well, people on the front lines are also constantly working too, man. Sometimes they have to work they got to work two jobs. But you don't see them working hard like that and having enough free time to, say, go on a boating trip like a CEO does on a big, luxurious $50 million yacht that they just bought, right? You don't see them having enough time to do that on the front lines. People don't have time to do that. So why would the CEO, who works hard, also have time to not, why would he have time to take, if he works so hard, right? The whole working hard mentality gets thrown out the window when you see the lavish lifestyles that these people live in. It's ridiculous, and it's unnecessary. It's ultimately a self-defeating thing. That's just we see that it starts to collapse a little bit with these little bargaining agreements that get thrown up in the air from time to time. But eventually, the long game is that it's completely unnecessary. Yeah, it's like, oh, James, you don't sound like a capitalist. You don't sound like you're somebody who wants to who believes in Western society. You sound almost like you're a socialist or something like. Get out of here with that nonsense. I'm not making points about that stuff, and it's like, I'm just saying that something doesn't seem right, and people are catching on to it with the way that the money's distributed throughout companies, right? And if you paid your frontline workers enough so that they can go out and buy a house and raise a family on the money of writing scripts for you, the economy would be so much better. It would, rather than these guys pushing numbers up and shrinking workforces and how much people are getting paid on the lower end, just so that they can get these big fat bonuses for the stockholders. Anyway, I'm preaching. So, yeah, you guys know how that works. Enough of that. It's just, there's been a little bit of pushback for some of those writing, or some of the strike videos that I've been doing about the writer strike. Just kind of like, I stand with the writers. Yeah, of course I stand with the writers. Nothing in those videos that I published about like Salem's Lot or other productions being safe, like House of the Dragon, it's never been like I'm on supporting the rich guys. I think my statement just now says that I don't support the rich guys. Let's see what the studios push back against the Writers Guild gig economy claims, reject hiring quota. So they rejected the hiring quota, huh? Okay, in page 4, in a 4-page document, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers claim that studios are seeking to force writers into a gig economy. Oh yeah, the gig economy. Again, it's kind of like, we're not really going to officially hire you on, but we're going to contract you as a freelancer to come in and work on the project. We're not going to officially give you enough job stability so that you can go out and buy a house, or you can buy a car, you can support your family. You're just going to be freelance. You're not going to be officially on with us. And they're rejecting those claims, which is bogus, because that's precisely what they were doing. And this is one of the reasons why we're in this. They also rejected the need for a hiring quota for TV writers. Yeah, that one I don't understand. Like, if you work on the late night show, you got to have 20 comedy writers come in. You can't have 19, you got to have 20. Like that one, yeah, they even say it here. The Guild is proposing a staffing mandate that most shows would require a writer's room of at least 6 to 12 writers. You've heard me say writer's room many times on here, but it's for movies. You should have writer's rooms for movies as well as TV shows. 6 to 12 writers, Why? 12 writers for a show? Well, if you want to get the season done faster, well, if you want to get it done faster, then what's also going to happen with that is that you're galvanizing and cannibalizing yourself with 12 writers. Do you really need that? I understand that. I'm not understanding the nuances of the situation, but yeah, this is what is called jousting. Each side is now poking each other, poking out, vast claims of theirs, saying, "Well, you claim this." And it's kind of like, no, well, I reject what you're saying. So I'm gonna publish an article here in Variety and say this is not true. So that's what's happening right now for the public image sakes. That's exactly what's happening with articles like this. Is that it's a jousting for public opinion, public popularity, and stuff like that. And if you these trades are going to be full of this kind of stuff. David Goodman Slam's latest studio response says Paramount's Bob Brackish sounds scared. So yeah, and that's what you're going to get is these poking and proddings from these Writers Guild stuff. So I'll pay attention to it and we'll wait accordingly, right? To see. It's just jousting that has to happen. It has to happen. Is it anything meaningful? Is it anything substantive? It moves the needle a little bit, but not much. Not much. Not when it actually comes down to sitting down in the rooms and trying to hash out the actual deal and contracts as to what's going to happen. Unless something says someone says something so voracious that it just gets the headline, right? Yeah. All right, let's get off of that stuff because that's starting to bum me out. Guardians of the Galaxy is out, and yesterday, when I went out to see my copy, I saw the trailer for Oppenheimer, and God, it played so well on the big screen. That trailer, Christopher Nolan, next movie, Oppenheimer. I'm really looking forward to it. And Variety has an article out here saying Cillian Murphy was desperate to be Christopher Nolan's lead in Oppenheimer. After 5 movies as a supporting actor, it's a huge responsibility. Yeah, Cillian Murphy and Nolan have worked together. And how many films, guys? He says 5. Do you know background characters? Well, the Batman movies, his Batman trilogy. He was always there as Scarecrow, right? What else was he in? He was in Inception. So there's 4. What's the 5th movie? What's the 5th movie, guys? Let me know in the comments if you got it. 5th Christopher Nolan movie. I know what it is. So anyway, he went out there and said that he really wanted to be a part of this. I've always said publicly and privately to Chris that I'm available and you want me to be in a movie. I'm there. I don't really care about the size of the part, Murphy said, but deep down, secretly, I was desperate to play a lead for him. Well, he's going to get his chance. And as I said, that trailer on the big screen, the scope. I've been always a little bit dubious of the Oppenheimer story, if that's something that really you need to see on the big screen. But the way that Nolan, his take on it, his approach, I think it's going to translate. And it's not about the big explosion that they say that they somehow emulate it. It's about the drama behind it, right? He's a tortured guy. Like, should he or shouldn't he be doing this, right? Somebody is going to do it, and it just so happens that Oppenheimer was going to be the guy that had the know-how to put together the big bomb, right? And there's like that conflict in him, and you can see it in a little bit even there, right? It's like, oh my God, what have I done, right? What have I done, kind of thing. There's a line in the trailer that says, you just handed the ability for humans to destroy themselves. You just handed them the ability to destroy themselves. And it's kind of like, yeah, he's got that look in his face, and it's just like, wow. And the cast is big for Dunkirk. Whoops, not Dunkirk. Well, that's the other movie that he was in, guys. The cast is big for Oppenheimer. It is. It's got Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, huge cast. Emily Blunt plays his wife in it. So looking forward to that for sure. All right, let's go over to some. Let's go over to Screen Rant. Oh no, the Movie Web here. Let's go over to Movie Web and just see what's trending, and then we'll do my review for Guardians here. Studio Ghibli composer Joe Hisashi names his favorite Ghibli movies. Okay, cool. 10 great spy thrillers. I'm just looking for any big headline that jumps off the page at me. 10 things the original Super Mario Bros. Actually got right. I don't know if I want to do that. Prey 2 is not coming yet, but the Feral Predator is getting an NECA action hero figure. Okay. Sean Bean hopes that he could play a Game of Thrones Ned Stark again in some way. Wow. Well, they are supposed to be doing that Jon Snow spinoff, so you could maybe have him in like a flashback sequence. You would have to de-age him, obviously. That's the only one that I could think of that he could pop up in, right? Guardians of the Galaxy post-credit scene set up franchise's future and surprise return. We'll talk about that. There are 2 post-credit scenes. The mid-credit, well, actually, they both set up possibilities. So, yeah, that's slightly spoilerish, so we won't go into that. Beau is Afraid in The Green Knight exploring the similarities between A24's most surreal films. Well, Green Knight makes Beau is Afraid look like a pile of dung. Green Knight is a far superior film. But that's because I think... let's pull this one because this is an article we're talking about. Ari Aster and the guy who did The Green Knight, who also just did Peter Pan and Wendy, David Lowery, is a... Guys, people aren't going to like me saying this because, I believe that Hereditary is a masterpiece, that it's aging like a fine wine. Ari Aster got so much acclaim from that. People are like, yes, he's a master filmmaker. But with Beau is Afraid, it showed that maybe he was overreaching. That we've got somewhat of a Shyamalan case with Ari Aster, that his first 2 were good, but now that he's starting to get more control over his projects, we see that he's got some pitfalls that he falls into. Now, David Lowery, I would say, on the other hand, who did The Green Knight, has shown a little bit more of a control and mastery because of things like The Green Knight. And actually, I like Peter Pan and Wendy. I would say that David Lowery is a better director than Ari Aster. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Okay, so he did A Ghost Story, The Old Man and the Gun, Pete's Dragon, Baby Mary, as an editor. Close that editing. God, IMDb. Directing. I want to see the directing. Yes, I would say that he's a better director. Well, he's got more on his resume. He started off with doing shorts. And with shorts, you look at a small, concise story and small little premise, and you try to execute it within that little small time frame. That's the way I should start. I should start just by making shorts. I really need to get on this, guys. I really do. Which means I would have to put some kind of a pause on doing these kinds of shows. But I would say, I know that people didn't like the newer Peter Pan and Wendy. I did. But like Green Knight, I think, that's also a masterpiece. Cinematically, and I know that people won't like me saying that, but out of the 2, Ari Aster now needs to bounce back with something. Yeah, you got to go off and make this passion project with Joaquin Phoenix. You got Final Cut for a 3-hour film, and that one is not. It's not going to age well. Not as well as Green Knight. All right, what's next? 10 classic sci-fi movies that would make great TV shows. Actually, you know what? I was just thinking about Dark City. See how they're showing the image there for Dark City? I was thinking of Dark City last night, actually, because I'm in the middle of watching The Diplomat on Netflix, and Rufus Sewell is in that. And that's the one with Kerry Russell. Um, he's in that, and he plays the husband to her, and she's like the main character. She's well, great, thanks. You can see him right there, and he was the star of Dark City. He still got it, man. He still got that charisma. The camera likes to focus in on them, and it's just kind of like, yeah, he's able to portray so much emotion and stuff like that. He still got it. And Kerry Russell in The Diplomat. If you haven't started watching it on Netflix, yeah, check it out. It's worth watching. I was thinking, if they did some kind of a follow up to Dark City, where Rufus Sewell could come back, because he was like the Neo of that universe, right? He was like the chosen one, sort of. There's more you could do in that universe for sure. It's not so isolated. 10 slashers that are worth checking out. Okay, something about a Nicolas Cage puff piece. We don't need that. Shutter Island. Break down the movie's ending. Do we really need to do that? James Gunn addresses how weird it was that Marvel and DC are believed to hate each other. No, I don't believe that they hate each other. Okay, let's save this Blair Witch one for tomorrow's. We'll talk about this Blair Witch tomorrow on the horror Roundup show. No, I don't believe that DC and Marvel hate each other. It's kind of like Coke and Pepsi, right? It's kind of like it's good for both businesses if they prop each other up. My friend in the live chat says, hey, how's this going? We're just going through some various movie news headlines here, looking at what's trending and stuff like that. I am curious about that Blair Witch. Eventually, with the Blair Witch, they're going to have to make one where you actually get to see her, because they've hid her, and the one that we saw in the reboot one was kind of like that really wasn't her. That was an altered version of alternate reality. It's like, get out of here with that. Just eventually, they're going to have to show her, and it's going to lose its mystique. But it's all in the execution of how well they show her and how well it's done, right? 10 characters who came back from the dead in really dramatic ways. They're showing Bucky there, okay. Carl Urban reportedly set to play Johnny Cage. What? No, he's too old. Guys, I really like Carl Urban a lot. But no, he's too, like, my God. What are the producers thinking here? But James, have you watched The Boys? He can still do action like that. But he's oh, Jesus. Guys, Johnny Cage is supposed to be the pretty boy. I'm not saying that Carl Urban's an ugly man, but Jesus. My God. I don't understand these producers for Mortal Kombat. 50 years old. A 50-year-old Johnny Cage. Seriously. Mortal Kombat. What in blazes are you doing? Like, you're going to get me cross here. You're getting me angry. And there's just, oh, God. There's been speculation that The Miz, yeah, that would be even a better pick. The Miz, who knows if he can act or not, was a popular pick by fans, and the wrestler even publicly campaigned for the role. Joel McHale was another name that came up from Community. While Urban's name wasn't coming up often with fantasy casting, chances are it won't have too many people feeling upset. Well, you got me right upset with the first headline. 50 years old. Seriously, Johnny Cage, you don't understand the character, and you... Yeah, this is going to be a short today. I'm publishing this as a short. You're going to see me rage about this. And it's nothing against Carl Urban. It's choices by the producers. What in the blazes are you doing? For God's sakes, it's not hard. You've got material, you got the source material. Just follow it and you will make money, not whatever you're trying to shoot. That's somebody shoehorning in their ideas from something else into it. Crying out loud. I was trying to be in a good mood here because I want to do my review for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. The Walking Dead City releases new trailer showing Negan and Maggie's unlikely alliance. Yeah, that I don't like either. If they end up like becoming lovers or something, I'm gonna really hate that because, yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 Volume 3, how it can bring back glory days of the MCU. I don't see. Well, we'll talk about that in just a few moments. All right. The Flash directors continues to hype sharing new character posters for the Flash. All right, let's take a look at that. New character posters for the Flash. That one looks cool. All right, where are these character posters? Ooh, I like that one. That one's cool. Yeah. Supergirl. Batman. See, now that one you could, that's something that you could have on your wall, right? Maybe? A little too dark? Supergirl one for sure. That's alternate world. No, that's the main world Flash, right? I'm glad that they redesigned the costume for Flash. I really am. Okay, again, why are you freezing on me here? Well, Movie Web likes to freeze because of the ads. You know why they got rid of? You know why they're going to have an older Johnny Cage? Because he's just going to be playing the mentor role to Cole Young. They're still going to go with Cole Young. They're going to die on the hill of Cole Young. For God's sakes. You've gotten the feedback. Nobody liked Cole Young for Mortal Kombat. Johnny Cage should be taking the spotlight. He should be the lead. You know what's happened here is that they have watched The Boys, and I'm guessing I haven't watched it, but I'm guessing he plays a very similar type of mentorish, older fighter kind of role. And they say, well, we need more of that. We need that in our Mortal Kombat, but it has nothing to do with the Mortal Kombat story. See what I mean by shoehorning it in? James, you're getting your feathers ruffled here. All right. Let's talk Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat. Let's talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. Enough with this. And then we'll go back to the floating headlines here. Make sure that I got everything cropped here properly. What will happen is I'll cut this part out. That's good. Wow. I've been adding just a little bit of a dash of cinnamon to my coffee because I don't put creamer, I don't put sugar in my coffee. I like it black. Why did I just get a flash of that scene from Airplane where the little boy asks the girl, "Do you want some coffee? Do you want some cream in your coffee?" God. Ugh. And she has the vulgar response. Anyway, let's get into this. Guardians of the Galaxy. This one's going to be hard to roll off the tongue. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is out in theaters this weekend, guys, and I've gone out and seen it. I gotta tell you, my impressions of it are that I liked it. I liked this movie. Okay, so this is the third movie, and this is going to be the final outing of this cast for Guardians. The synopsis briefly reads, still reeling from the loss of Gamora, Peter Quill rallies his team to defend the universe and one of their own, a mission that could mean the end of the Guardians if not successful. Okay, we knew that going in, and all of my worries that did you need to know what happened in, like, say, the holiday special or anything like that? Did you need to know Endgame and stuff like that? Sort of. Between Guardians Volume 2 and Volume 3, there is a bit of a gap there. You need to know a little bit about that. But they do a good enough job with the dialogue to fill people in if you haven't seen those other ones, right? But as a trilogy now, like James Gunn envisioned this as a trilogy, this iteration of the Guardians, this team, and this movie wrapped them up beautifully, epically. And I'll say it to you straight up, this is my favorite Guardians of the Galaxy movie, by far. And oddly enough, they've left it in such a way that you could maybe somewhere, years down the road, come back to this. Now that's slightly spoilers, but not really. The cast in this is really, really awesome. So, the bad guy, let's talk about him. Chuck Iwuji? Sorry if I'm butchering that name. The High Evolutionary. Oh God. You watch what this guy's doing on the screen and you're like, why wasn't Kang like this, man? Like, he makes Kang look like small potatoes. And Kang is supposed to be the big bad guy for the Avengers, right? This guy is like, takes it to that whole other level. My God. You'll be like, more of that, please. More of this. The other characters have some good, like every character in this has a moment to shine. Drax, Mantis. The scenes in here that I thought would bother me with like these visual effects and stuff, Gunn, I think, was aware of it because this is very minimal. It's not chock full of it. You actually do get realistic, photorealistic sets, like here when they're on an alternate Earth kind of thing. They all have good chemistry. Karen Gillan's Nebula really stands out for me in this. She comes out in the forefront. How does Adam Warlock fit into this? With Elizabeth Debicki, good to see her back. I'll always want to see her in stuff. I guess for me, that was perhaps the weakest part of the film, because you know that he's strong, you know he's powerful, and you know he's got powers. You just don't know how powerful. You don't know how strong he is. And that's sort of what I mean by leaving the door open for more to be told, right? With his character especially. He starts off kind of like the muscle of the bad guys, and then, well, I don't want to get into too much of the spoilers, but I think Will Poulter did a good job for what he was given. For sure. Gamora, the Gamora storyline, yeah. I think that most people may not like the way that story resolved. Like, they'll be like, but, you know, that's not what I wanted to see. But in the way of that universe is, it makes sense. And I agreed with the way that the story ended with her. Again, it's just one of those things where it's leaving the door open for possibilities of things still continuing on later on when they decide that perhaps they may want to come back to this property. Overall, guys, it's a fun experience. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes. It has its laughs in there. Some could say that the comedy doesn't land at certain points. I thought it did, especially with that dog. Cosmo the dog, Maria Bakalova did thumbs up. Thumbs up in my book. Some of the weird comedy that, like, Drax had about like being invisible and stuff like that kind of mentality of the comedy. Yeah, that humor didn't land at times. But overall, like the heart of it was about Rocket, right? What happened to him? We learn all about his backstory, and some people will say, well, that's just sidestepping the main story, learning about like all the like you see that he's younger there. So you know that there's going to be like flashbacks as to him in the lab and stuff. You know that from the trailers. We see that stuff in the trailers, and that stuff really works for me. It really did. There's the bad guys again. Uh, when he comes around, um, in the movie, which is like really basically only in the start, and then it's all about him, right? It's all about trying to save him from the guy who made him, which is no big putting two and two together. This is the guy who made him, right? So it's about their conflict and how the Guardians are just trying to like rescue him and stuff. So that's basically what the bulk of the movie is. And I think a lot of people would have preferred the bulk of the movie to be about Quill trying to get back with Gamora, right? Um, but that one, it kind of takes a step to the background for, well, the movie. So it's kind of like, I thought it'd be about that, and it's not really. It's more about Rocket. And it's fine, guys. I think it's fine. Some people say, well, going out off to that planet and having that Nathan Fillion storyline in there and stuff is too side missiony, right? But it's just fun. I just thought it was fun. And that's what you're going to feel when you come out of this movie. Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people are saying about it as of 11:40 a.m. on a Friday, just as it's coming out. 80% by critics, 232 reviews by the critics, 96 by the audience, and that's what I expect. Because when I came out of this, my immediate response was, this is easily, hands down, trumps anything that came out in Phase 4. Yes, even Shang-Chi, for the diehard people out there. This is a far superior film almost on every level since Endgame. I said that this was the best MCU film since Endgame. Because you knew that going into it, this was going to be the last time for this crew to be together. You knew that going in. And it does pull at the heartstrings at times because you know that the stakes are high. At any given moment here, somebody could cash out their chips. We're not going to see them again anymore, right? And they do a good job with that, especially towards the end where it's kind of like it's all on the line, right? And you feel that peril. At least I did. There's there's the dog. I love that dog. Oh, such a good doggy. Yeah, there you go. There's a little nod if you know what I'm talking about, if you've seen it. This storyline here, this Yondu, his right-hand man, played by James Gunn's brother, that one was kind of like meh. But I guess that was necessary, again, to, as I said, to set things up for stuff to happen on down the line kind of thing, right? So let's take a look at some of the snapshot reviews. ABC News says, for all its backsliding into bleak, stop torturing Bradley Cooper's talking raccoon. This spirited summer kickoff delivers the requisite thrill ride, and ends Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy with a sweet sorrow of saying goodbye to these space dorks. It's been a trip. Yeah, because it is the last time. And they do make it fairly apparent it is the last time. Boston Globe says, a movie is only as good as its bad guy, and I dreaded having to spend time with him. And that's a bad review? No, actually, I like the bad guy. So that guy didn't like. Yeah, I don't know what the heck you're smoking. Wall Street Journal says, who didn't like it, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is a blah bluster that, like other recent Marvel disappointments, jogs along from one visually extravagant, strenuously jokey set piece to another without offering much in the way of either dramatic engagement or actually funny ideas. What? No, it was totally like when they get out to that other planet that sort of looks like Earth that we see, there's something going on there culturally with what the bad guy is trying to do with that place that I found very fascinating, and that worked for me. Okay, let's just get to the good reviews, what people are saying. Movie Freak says, not only is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 my favorite film of the series, but it's also quite possibly the best entry in the entire MCU. Well, I wouldn't go that far. It's not as good as Infinity War and Endgame. It's not as good as, say, actually, even the first Iron Man, right? Those still got to be up there. Um, and Spider-Man No Way Home, like, is like way far above those ones, for me at least. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 now sits next to Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Back to the Futurist trilogies. I don't know about that. Greatest trilogies of all time. Because I know a lot of people are still mixed on the second one. What it did do, what Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 did make me want to do is go back and watch the second one. Because I was meh on the second one. But yeah, it makes me want to go back and watch that one again. That one happens before Endgame. So um, yeah, but that's what it made me want to do. I just wanted to just be thankful that this team, this crew is together, right? And you get to see them take their bow. That's what this movie really is. You get to see them take their bow and say, like, thank you for letting us entertain you for 3 films. And it's been a blast. This is one of the few that I would actually go and watch this movie again in the theater. I know I should go and watch other movies like Sisu and like that, but I'd fully consider going to watch this one again. James Gunn and the company have put a stamp on the honest to God, wackiest and most heartfelt Marvel franchise ever. Yeah. So, where would I rank Guardians of the Galaxy? Not quite high as 80%. Or sorry, not quite as high as 96%, but I'm somewhere around the critics. 8 out of 10 seems about right for me. Also, in fact, I might even say 8.5. That's pretty high. 8.5 for Guardians of the Galaxy. There could be something in the rewatch there that I'll pick up where it'll be kind of like some pacing issues and stuff like that. Some of the jokes won't land as well as the second time, but there's still that heart of the movie about the team. We're a team. And they said team more than they used the word family, because I guess that would just draw too much similarity to Fast and Furious. But that's pretty much what they are. They are a family. And wow, what an accomplishment. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is a thumbs up in my book, guys. 8.5 out of 10. There it is. I have got no problem saying it for sure. Go and see it if you can in the theater on the big screen. It's totally worthwhile. I saw it in the AVX format, so I got the best sound quality that you could get. So awesome. Awesome in my books. Let me know if you saw it and what you thought about it in the comments below, and we will talk about it. You're watching Mirror Domains. All right, let's address those 2 post-credit scenes now. The first one sets up the next team. That's pretty much all it does, because we know from watching this one that this is the last time for this group of people to be done. That's what the mid-credit scene does, and it shows Adam Warlock going to be part of the team there. I was trying to dance around that. But I hope they show more of that. Right? Pull up Adam Warlock. Get Adam Warlock up here. Where's that image? There he is. Yeah. I guess we won't be seeing Elizabeth Debicki. That sucks. I like her. I love. Yeah, sorry. Anyway, yeah. So he's going to be part of the team from going forward here. Sorry, spoiler alert. It's a given. We know that he was going to be like the muscle kind of thing. If somebody were to say that he was a little bit too goofy, yeah, I would say so. But it didn't detract from the movie for me. It didn't. Okay, so I can't talk about the final one without saying too much spoilers. So let's just go into a little bit of a spoiler discussion here. We'll start off with the first and obvious one. Who dies? Nobody. Nobody dies. I thought, for crying out loud, I thought in this one that I thought at least Drax, and everybody thought that Rocket was going to be like the first candidate to be like, oh yeah, you're setting it up here for a heartbreak that Rocket's going to die in this one, but Rocket is going to be the leader of the new team. So there you go. It's like it wasn't Rocket. Everybody thought that Drax would be another contender for someone that would pass on. That we've heard Batista say countless times that he's getting tired of putting on the makeup and stuff like that. He wants to be done with this kind of a role and go on to other projects. And they did Drax well. They closed off Drax storyline very well in this. You felt for him, and you felt good with the way that he was going to be in. So nobody died. They kind of toyed around with it was going to be Quill, that he was going to sacrifice himself to save one of them, and that's how they were going to put like the definitive kind of stamp on this. But no, nobody died. And of course, that Quill shows up in the second post-credit scene. So we'll talk about that. He goes back to Earth to be with his grandfather. And then it just ends with it saying, Star-Lord will return. So those quotes that we've seen in the press of Chris Pratt going around saying that, he's open to returning to the franchise, which kind of spoils the fact that he survives. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that. And he doesn't necessarily have to be back to mentor or, counsel the next Guardians team. He doesn't have to be. There is another storyline that got left hanging that I thought would be a lot more interesting for a sequel, or something else that Quill could do, because they left the door open for it by having the story be more about Rocket. People, like, if somebody said that they didn't like the way that Gamora's storyline ended with her going back to the Reavers or whatever. Is it the Reavers? Ravengers or whatever? Reavers. With her going back to them. They didn't like that it should be about Quill and her getting back together and having love. Well, they've left the door open for that possibility to happen. And as I said, going into it, there is a fascinating story there that if that was the focus of the movie, like, yeah, she's Gamora, but she's not the same Gamora that Quill fell in love with. She's a totally different person. And there's dramatic storylines in there that if you amplified those and focused with those ideas, which they sort of loosely touched on in Guardians 3, but if you went back into it and kind of like, yeah, Quill is on Earth, but he feels like this love. There's this part of him that's gone, and yeah, he wants to honor his family there on Earth, but he goes off eventually to try to find her, and he's kind of like the no quit attitude that he wants just to be part of her life, even if they can't be lovers like before. That he wants to have like that friendship with her, and it'd be a little bit more of a dramatic story than people would be wanting from a Quill storyline, but there's something there that I think that could be developed into something very moving, for sure. Although I think Zoe Saldana said that she wants to be done with it too, wearing the green makeup and everything like that. But she did good in this one too, and I like the relationship she had with Nebula as well, with the nodding and the grunting noises that they would make. But that's what I thought about the two post-credit scenes. Okay, good way to start off May. It really was. Okay, let's put up the chat capture again. I think we're pretty much through everything here today. As I said, there really hasn't been that much that's dropped. I'm going to publish that short about Mortal Kombat 2. And yeah. 6 Disney live action remakes that definitely don't need sequels. Guardians of the 3 cameo guide. Where are all the actors from? Oh, that's something else too about Guardians 3. No other MCU cameos. So you didn't see a Thor in there. You didn't see like people from other like MCU movies in there. And they didn't need to. And what I liked about it is that they didn't look forward to set up like more narrative, right? What else is here? Idris Elba files the unfriendly flies. Sorry, Idris Elba flies the unfriendly skies in first hijack show images. What? Hunger Games. Effie Trinket gets stunning recreation in butterfly cosplay dress. Yeah, I did like Effie Trinket, mostly because that's Elizabeth Banks. God, why you these ads pop up and they like totally stall your web page, man. You got to cut these out. I know that ads make money for you, but for God's sakes, it's not the static ads. It's the ads that pop up and like show videos that stall things. There's something with the code, and hopefully they get that corrected in the next year or so. Batman officially disproves his. Okay, we don't need that. Pitch Perfect Cup song. All right. Yeah, there really isn't that much going on out there today, guys. We will go over to the Twitterverse, and that should pretty much round us out for the day. I'll publish my shorts. Not my shorts, like, my entertainment shorts. People have fun watching those, and I have fun making them. And I've been toying around with the idea of publishing shorts beyond the realm of movies. Because there's that concept, well, you got to make a video that you're not going to get a million views on a video that a million people are not going to be wanting to watch, right? So I've been trying to think of ways in the back of my head. Well, what is a video that a million people would watch? So I'm going to have to start studying like the big channels out there and maybe emulating, perhaps not stealing, but looking for inspiration to try to bring in more people. Like, we are growing for sure. We're growing. It's not quite happening as quickly as I would want to. You look at other channels out there that publish like 100 to 200 videos, and they're like 10,000 subscribers. I've published 4,000 videos or something. All right. Yeah, that's just me complaining. Let's go over to the Twitterverse and see what else is happening in case I missed something. Brendan Fraser confirms he is in Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon following online speculation of his role being cut out. Wow. Killers of the Flower Moon is 3.5 hours. And I find it hard to believe that anything was cut out of that film. Audaciously, there's probably something like a 6-hour cut. Yeah, you can't cut out Brendan Fraser from a movie right now, especially since he just won the Oscar, right? You worked with him. I don't believe those. Andrew Garfield and Daisy Edgar Jones to star in Voyagers. The film is set in 1977 as NASA prepared to launch humanity's first interstellar probes. But what starts out as a mission becomes an epic, unexpected love story between Carl Sagan. Oh, yeah, there's that Carl Sagan. And Anne Durian. I do like Daisy Edgar Jones. I still think about Where the Crawdads Sing. I do. Is this rolled up thing with jeans coming back? I've seen some utes around town wearing their jeans all rolled up like that. Utes? What the heck is a ute? Did you say ute? Yes, I did. Youths. Anyway, what's next? Henry Cavill, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Isaac Gonzalez to star in Guy Ritchie's next film. Well, hopefully it won't be a bomb like his other two last films. The action the action film will revolve around two extraction specialists who must plan an escape path for a high-level female negotiator. Henry Cavill just turned 40, right? Happy birthday, Henry Cavill. Where the hell is your goddamn Highlander reboot? For crying out loud. Can't go wrong with Jake Gyllenhaal. Isaac Gonzalez, I got nothing against her. Sounds like an interesting premise. Guy Ritchie. We know that he did Man from U.N.C.L.E., right? Didn't he? So he's worked with him before. Halle Bailey. Yeah, we've seen her before. For Vogue. Damien Chazelle has been announced as the jury president for the 2023 Venice Film Festival. Really? Damien Chazelle? After his last box office bomb, Babylon. It's always going to be my punching bag, guys. Babylon will be my punching bag until I find something else better to beat up on. The first poster for Jason Yu's Sleep, starring, Sleep. First trailer for Jason Yu's Sleep. Okay, so we got a trailer as well. This is about dreams or something? Oh, it's all subtitled. Okay, Evan Michaels, Bang covered. Don't know who that is. Oh yeah, we talked about that that quote there from Cillian Murphy. Good actor, and I got my fingers crossed. I hope he gets an Oscar nom for it. I do. As I said, he does it with just the look, and Nolan knows that. Nolan knows that he's got that talent. Okay, so Kelvin Harrison Jr. Drew Barrymore has stepped down as host of this year's MTV Movie Awards. Oh, I never watched them anyway. I'm sorry. I guess I should keep up with what's going on with pop entertainment. The Little Mermaid. Halle Bailey stars tracking for 110 million 4-day opening. Oh, is it going to be opening on a long day weekend? Is it a long weekend at the end of the month? Because that's when it opens up, right? May 28th is when this opens up? May 26th. So is there a holiday there that I don't know? Again, these posters are I don't like them. That's the weakest part for me of the marketing campaign is the posters. Victoria Justice, Devin Brown, Dermot Mulroney to star in Sick. The film follows a group of roommates who accidentally kill an innocent man, leading them down a dangerous path of deception and cover-up. All right, well, that sounds interesting. Whoops. Yeah, that sounds kind of interesting, right? What have we here, Vega? Sure, you can conjure up something from your dark imagination. All right, Elizabeth Moss, Kate Hudson, and Kaya Garber to star in psychological thriller Shell. Actress Samantha is given an opportunity to give a free trial at a beauty company which promises to keep its clients looking young forever. Okay, so shades of death becomes her. The fountain of youth being discovered. Elizabeth Moss. We liked her in Invisible Man. We liked Kate Hudson in Glass Onion. I don't know who the heck that is. Kaya Gerber. Don't know what she's in. That dude I sort of recognize. Citadel. Oh yeah, that's on Prime. I'm sorry guys, I'm just bogged down and watching a whole bunch of other stuff. Argos Viking says, I've heard no reviews for The Covenant. Would Jake got 2 for 2 with Guy if the last outing was a flop? Oh yeah, Covenant was also Guy Ritchie, right? Yeah, that's the other bomb. The other one was what was it Operation Fortune? I like Guy Ritchie. He's got style. He's got flair. I know that he didn't want to go back to the well too many times with that style of Lock, Stock, and Barrel and Snatch, but like that stuff, Snatch is like, how could you not like that movie? That movie's just fun, right? Uh, what's next? So Long, Marianne. Uh, what's this about? Join the cast. So Long, Marianne. Poet and novelist Leonard Cohen travels to Hydra to rewrite his novel. After some time on the island, he finds the love of his life, Marianne. So is that like a biopic? Leonard Cohen, the songwriter? Huh. First look at Zoe Saldana and Nicole Kidman in spy thriller series Special Ops Lioness from Taylor Sheridan. And we know that Zoe Saldana has said too that she wants to go on beyond the Guardian stuff and become and do more stuff like this. That's a good pairing right there. I'd be on board to seeing their work together because Zoe Saldana can act, man. She can like do like the heavy dramatic stuff. I want to see more of that. I would totally cast her and stuff. Priyanka Chopra, Strange Way of Life, Pedro Pascal, and Ethan Hawke. All right, not too much else is jumping on the page. Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton story, is now streaming on Netflix. I never watched Bridgerton, so that one doesn't mean too much to me. First poster for The Moon. I don't even know what The Moon is about. Why you got a bunch of Korean stuff on here? Is that Korean? I'm sorry if I'm being ignorant here. Brie Larson, Paul Dano joined the 79th Cannes Film Festival jury. Okay. That's just around the corner, right? Cannes. Amy Adams, Paul Rudd, and Tessa Thompson to star in comedy The Invite. It follows a middle-aged couple who are feeling stagnant in their relationships or in their relationship and invite the couple from upstairs who find out they are hosting a weekly oh god oh god weekly parties, we'll say, and have an invite of their own to offer. Wow, that's spicy for this cast. We know Amy Adams can go to a dark place because of what was that movie that she was in? Um, Nocturnal Animals, right? Paul Rudd taking on this kind of a subject matter too. That's very different from him. Uh, yeah, I'd be on board for that. Let's see what that's about. Whose performance in Dune Part 2 are you most excited to watch? This is going to be shocking for people. You know who I'm excited to watch? People would say Fade, Austin Butler, but oddly enough, I'm looking forward to seeing what Zendaya does. That'll be a short. This is going to be a short, guys. Open image next tab. That's going to be a short that'll be published today. Who are you looking forward to? It's hard, like Timothée Chalamet in that trailer when he's like yelling and stuff like that too. That's going to be cool to watch. Florence Pugh there as well. God, it's just that trailer is just, and of course whatever Stellan Skarsgård does with the Baron too is going to be like, yeah. Which director would you like to see Timothée Chalamet work with next? Tarantino. Let's have him show up in Tarantino's last film. Okay, Sydney Sweeney, you know that stuff. Stephanie Shu. What is your most anticipated movie of the year? Well, obviously for me, it's Dune Part 2. You saw how I reacted to that trailer. What the heck's going on here with Austin Butler? Yeah, we saw that in the trailer. You didn't realize it at the time when we were watching, or when you watched. Well, I guess maybe you did, but because he's bald and playing like an albino kind of type person, he doesn't have eyebrows or anything like that. You definitely see the bone structure get accented in his face, right? Like if you were an artist and you like to draw, you would love to draw something like that, um, with that kind of uh, contours being exposed in his face there. Very tough because it's light shading, right? The shading, it's yeah, very light. Timothy with Sam Raimi. That would be kind of fun. Yeah, good call there, Arglass. Um, that would be kind of fun. All right. I think that's pretty much it for today, guys. I got nothing really else. I'll publish some shorts later on, and that'll be about it for me. Join us tomorrow for some horror weekly roundup shows. Emma Darcy and Archie Maddoxway in For the People, for People in Trouble. Emma is the older. Emma is the older Rhaenyra. And they do good work. Emma goes by they, them. And Archie, we're going to see him in the Gran Turismo movie, which I'm, oddly enough, is going to be on my most anticipated list of this year. Yeah, Emma Darcy is a good actor. Especially that final shot from House of the Dragon when she realizes that she's got to go to war. That frustration we see in Rhaenyra. Yeah, great job. All right, guys, I really got nothing else more other than I'm going to publish the short Doom Part 2 short. I'm going to publish my rage video about Mortal Kombat 2. I'm just checking to see if any other trailers dropped. I don't think it did. I don't think it did. No, I'm not seeing nothing. There's some more Flash TV spots, but that's about it. Okay, so that's it for me, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. Who knows what's going to happen today? It's supposed to be nice and sunny outside today, so we might go and finish off with that. And as I said, I'm going to explore publishing experimental videos about just life. See if people like that kind of stuff. Trying to get traction out there. Trying to expand the audience. You know, some of them hit, some of them don't. Sometimes I look at those shorts and I'm like, I don't even know what the heck I was thinking when I did it, but I did it anyway. So there you go. Okay. All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you next time on Monday for more movie news headlines. You're watching Mirror Domains. Have a nice day.